Maybe this time I'll play an Italian from the white side. Yeah, let's play d3. We'll have a perhaps similar opening. Black's putting the bishop on e7, so a little bit more passive compared to bishop c5, but still playable. Yeah, I'll just kind of do the usual rook e1. Don't think there's a huge difference with the move order in such a position. Though maybe I should have started with c3 to allow for like check and then saving the bishop. Yeah, I might be having to trade off the bishop for knight. Because if I play bishop b5, c6, bishop a4, b5. Yeah, I'm regretting not having played c3 or even like a3 or a4 to give the bishop room. But okay, I'll cope with this. Play knight to d2. If takes, I can take back. And I think in this case, the knight will be happy to find a square on e3. Yeah, black pins the knight. I'll play knight e3. Hit the bishop. Yeah, very often the knight will maneuver via f1 to e3 or g3, but c4 is another way to get there. So queen d7. Now black is giving me the choice to take the bishop, which I'm kind of tempted to do, but yeah, maybe I'm not in any rush. I'm thinking just pawn c3 here. A very flexible move. Later I might want to expand with pawn d4. Black plays pawn c5, okay. Grabbing some space. Now I'm really just looking for my long-term plan in the position. I mean, the drawback of c5 is it does weaken d5. So I'm trying to imagine a scenario where I trade off black's bishop and knight, and then can plant a knight on d5. It's kind of a faraway fantasy, but I'm leaning towards knight takes, just to open up my bishop too. We will simplify a little bit. Okay, queen digs g4. And queen a4 check comes to mind. Then there's knight d7 or queen d7. I'm also thinking bishop g5. Like, if I can trade off bishop for knight, I think my knight is going to be better than black's bishop. So, yeah, let's go for this. And the queen on g4 does look a little bit scary, like aligned with my king, but don't really think black can do much damage. One thing I am considering, though, is if takes, black could take and open the g-file, but I think that's fine. Like, just knight d2, I can offer the queen trade. So let's go for this. And I think I'll play knight d2 anyway, offering the queen trade. And now it's this knight that wants to maneuver to e3 and eventually to d5. And I can do so via c4 or f1. So both games featuring some higher level positional play in the Italian opening. Okay, we see queen e6. Yeah, now it's about just getting the knight to this outpost square. And if I play knight c4, there is pawn d5. But then takes and e5 should be a target. I'm going to have tactics with f4, knight takes e5 first. So yeah, let's go for this. Okay, so my dream has come true. I mean, I was envisioning a situation like this several moves ago when like more minor pieces were on the board. But yeah, it's essentially going to be a good knight versus not such a good bishop. And once I get the knight to d5, it's going to be very hard for black to do anything about it. The bishop can never access the d5 square. So let's hop in, threatening the fork. Black defends. Okay, so black is maybe trying to play f5, which does make sense. Try and destabilize my pawn on e4. Looking at the move queen f3. An attempt to discourage pawn f5. Not sure if that actually discourages it, though. Another idea is to play pawn a4, which I'm liking a bit more, especially given that black's rooks are disconnected with the bishop on d8. And black doesn't have a6 because I take, and then black can't take back. So it's not actually clear how black deals with the tension. And yeah, with takes, I can take probably with rook. And now I can perhaps focus on using the a file, double up and target the a pawn. Okay, black plays f5. Queen b3 comes to mind to set up some tactics. But what else to do? I could play kind of a slower and simple move, queen e2. I don't think I have to react to this move. Yeah, I think I'll just play queen e2. Just preparing rook a1. And I am allowing pawn f4, but I won't mind that. I mean, or maybe I do mind it. I mean, yeah, black perhaps is threatening pawn f3. I do have to be careful, actually. This pawn f3 could be quite annoying. Yeah, I was thinking I could easily play h3 and queen to g4. Actually thinking of starting with queen f3, just blockading the pawn. Queen f3, g5, h3, queen g6. Not super simple. Could also play queen h5 immediately here. That also allows f3. But then I just take it. I think that's okay. In queen h5, it's really an attempt to slow down black's play on the king side. It does seem like maybe a slightly vulnerable square for the queen. But one of the ideas is to play h3 and queen g4, offer the trade. You're really trying to keep the game positional. Now, I still have the plan of rook e to a1, pressure the pawn. We might end up seeing rook f7. Okay, pawn a5. So, yeah, I'm going to play pawn h3. Yeah, maybe there were better ways to handle this, but really just trying to keep control. I do have to watch my time as well. Let's play this move. Now the queen... I mean, if black doesn't want to trade queens, yeah, queen f7 is very logical. H5 might be coming. Yeah, it's still tricky. b4 doesn't quite work. I really have to watch my time too. What to do? h4, h4, h5. Yeah, I'm gonna play h4. mean, one of the hopes is to get in h5. And if black plays h5, then at least I have the h3 square for the queen. And it's not easy for black to set up a battery against a pawn because my knight's controlling e7 and f6. Yeah, now I probably play f3. Do I need to play f3? There's also b4 now. Yeah, b4 actually is a bit more timely. Because the rook's not defended. It's a move I was considering when the queen was on f7, but with the rook not defended, the a pawn is pinned. Okay, with that move, I'll play g3. So I'm trying to hold together the king side. Really just trying to make it so black doesn't have a way to crack the position. The pawn on f3, it does look scary. But now at least a nice thing is the knight could retreat, maybe maneuver to f5, find a more useful outpost. Yeah, I'm also realizing, like, this situation, like, the bishop has done a nice job at restricting my knight, but the knight also does a good job at restricting the bishop. It's hard for black to find a good square for the bishop. It wants to go here align with my king, but b6 is off limits. And I'm now fantasizing about tactics. Like if black allows... Okay, I was fantasizing about deflecting the rook and bishop and playing knight e7 with a fork. But now maybe I can just make the battery. The queen was defending the rook, but now there's a bit more pressure on the file. And it looks like I should be winning this pawn now. Okay, let's take. Like if I were black, I'd probably be looking to play g5 ASAP. Just try and generate some counterplay. If g5, I probably have to take. So black is blockading. Do I have queen? Queen c8 looks interesting. I'd also have queen f5, forcing the queen trade. There's also knight b4. Not sure what to do here. I'm going to play knight b4 first. Not actually sure if I want to push, because it allows bishop d6. There. Let's push. I might regret this. Queen b3, okay. Let's go in with my queen. I have to be really careful, actually. Bishop b6. Because it might threaten bishop takes f2. Yeah, I'm kind of losing the thread here. I'm thinking, looks so ugly. Bishop b6, rook f1. Okay, that's a welcome sight. I can take this. Ooh. Okay, I have this move. We're getting a bit low on time. Rook f6. Okay, I just have to move quickly. 42 seconds left. Queen d7, good move. Let's play this. I'll draw back with the queen of queen h3. Yeah, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. Time management has not been great. I'm going to try and get the queen out. Probably put the rook here. And black's dealt with this very well. Okay, hitting f3. Also defending this from a distance. Trying to get in for some attack. Still not easy. Ugh. Okay, winning the queen. But I have 18 seconds, no increment. Gotta bust out the pre-moves. Some hesitation there. Okay, I'll win the rook. Okay. Everything should be under control now. Plenty of time. Stressful game. Also, this isn't stalemate, thankfully. G5, only legal move. Okay, 9.4 seconds to spare. Oh man, yeah, games are getting much, much tougher. Time management probably was not to be admired there, at least on my end. Maybe my opponent could have slowed down a little bit to put up more resistance. But yeah, let's go through from the beginning. Yeah, I do want to make the point that it was probably worth playing a move, either moving the A pawn or C pawn, like A4, ensuring that if knight A5, the bishop can drop back. I think I played rook E1 a little bit too quickly. Also to show if C3, knight A5, then I'd save the bishop like this because the bishop has C2. It doesn't have to go back to B3. But it wasn't a big deal. We traded bishop for knight, and then I eventually traded knight for bishop. And I think this whole plan of like trading off my darks for bishop, removing black's knight, and then getting my knight to d5, it was really nice, hopefully instructive for the viewers. But then once I executed the plan, I probably didn't play the right follow-up. But a4 still seemed fine. But then around here, yeah, black got some active play. And I played queen e2, but yeah, maybe there's a better approach. Engine says rook a6, which actually makes some sense. That's a nice square for the rook. Fixing the pawn on a7 and constantly pressuring the d6 pawn. Yeah, because queen e2 is kind of just a waiting move. And I ended up losing time too because I played queen h5 next. And I mean, my opponent played like really solidly, like got a slightly passive position, but held things together, found the best square for the bishop on d8. And like already here, the engine says it's about equal. Of course, yeah, it was still very much a fight. I got this b4 break in, and then, yeah, I eventually won the a pawn. But then it still got a bit tricky. I was reluctant to play pawn a6 because it allows bishop b6. My plan was to move my knight back to d5, and then after this, I think I was just going to play like rook a2. I mean, white's still for choice, but yeah, then, I mean, black has a strong bishop. Maybe at some point I would have to sack. But that didn't happen because queen b3 was played. I went into d7. And yeah, in this position, I was really scared of bishop b6. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do because if I'm careless, like let's say I take the pawn, black has bishop takes f2. And this is pretty much winning on the spot because if king takes f2, black is mating by force. The queen and pawn just work together. King e3, queen e2 mate. King f1, it's going to be mate eventually as well. So, I mean, I was aware of this potential threat. I think I was going to play rook f1 here, just defending the pawn. But it's very delicate because my queen defends a rook, which defends a knight. Engine says black is nearly winning after bishop c5. How does this work? Bishop c5, knight d5. Rook a d8. My queen is being kicked around. Queen c6. Rook c8, queen d7. Yeah, there's some like long tactics. Apparently bishop takes f2 is winning. Rook takes f2 and then rook c1. Yeah, I'm kind of going deep into this tactical line, but goes to show the danger of the position with the bishop finding this diagonal and the pawn on f3 helping support a mating attack. So yeah, rook f7 let me off the hook, but then I had less than a minute to try and convert this position. And at this point, it was just a matter of trying to stay calm, making sure I'm not like blundering any mating ideas from black. I was aware of queen h3, had to fend off the threats, and then gradually improve my pieces. And I think I was very thankful to have this rook e7 move. Like if black just waited with rook, let's say rook b7, this is a hard position to convert with just 20 seconds left. Because, yeah, it takes a lot of patience. I'd probably have to eventually win the f pawn and then push the e pawn.